Hello and welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to use a dip pen. A dip pen is a pen that has a little metal nib at the tip of it like this that you then dip in ink and you use that to write with. Whenever people say that they want to learn how to use one of these, they say they want to do calligraphy. And in reality, they don't actually want to do calligraphy, they want to do cursive. And here's the difference. This is a type of calligraphy, although it is very spotty calligraphy because, well, I did this in a rushed way with a pen tip that was not, well, made for that. And this is a cursive writing, and my writing is atrocious typically, but you know, that's what I use this pen for. I use it to write cursive, and most people, whenever they see these, they want to learn how to write cursive, although they say calligraphy, and two totally different things. Another option that you have with making work or art, you can also use it for outlining and details like I have on here. And this is another video that I've uploaded on the channel, but basically you can use this to do really detailed manga outlines. These types of pens are perfect for that. These pens are very simple. This is just a wooden shaft. It's a dowel rod that I have hollowed out the tip of and wrapped a little bit of metal around it. You can buy these pen holders anywhere. Like, you can find them online, you can find them even in Walmart. They're different calligraphy pens, and typically in the United States they all have the same barrel size. And what I mean by that, the pen nibs are interchangeable. So you can just grab a hold of the base, pull it out, and you can change it for another pen nib. This one is a writing nib, and the idea with this is whenever you put pressure on it, it will actually increase the width as you apply pressure and widen out the tip of it to give you a broader stroke. You can see that little line in between there. When you push down on it, it widens out. That way it'll give you a bolder line. Whenever I was learning how to write with a pen, I actually used these. And these come in different sizes, as you can see right here. And basically they're the same type of pen as this, but they don't give a fine line unless you hold it a certain way. These are mainly for writing in bold or doing calligraphy. So as you can see here, it comes up to a point, and basically the width of that is how wide your lines are going to be. And if you want a thin line, you have to angle it to draw down like that, so you get a very thin line, or you draw like this to get a very thick line. You can also get ones that look similar to this. This has a rounded tip on it, and basically what it does, it will give the same consistency as a circle for every line that you make. So there's no variation in the widths. It's always going to be that size. So you may have noticed that these nibs have a hole near the top of it. Now these holes right here are called ink wells, and that is where you store your ink at. So whenever you dip your pen in ink, you want it to go up past those holes so it can hold ink. If it does not have those holes, you may also have a little wraparound thing like that right there. That is exactly the same thing. That is an ink well. It takes the ink, holds it in here, and then moves it down towards the tip whenever you are applying pressure to write with. You may notice that if you load your pen nib up for the first time and you're trying to dip it in ink and write with it, that it is a little bit difficult to write with. The reason for that, and I did not know this until looking it up, these pen nibs, if you've never used them before, actually come from the factory coated in a kind of wax that helps prevent it from rusting while it is in shipping. So the best way to get rid of the wax coating on here that is preventing you from writing is to take a lighter or a candle, and you basically just hold a flame over it and just pass it over it just a couple times like that, and that will remove any of the wax that is left over on your pen nib. It doesn't take long, and you don't want to do it too much because if you do, you could warp the metal, and that's not good. How do you use your pen? You need some kind of ink, and this is another thing that I had to figure out. The ink you use is varied. There are different types of ink for different applications. And the ink that I actually originally tried was not the right kind of ink, and I eventually had to make my own out of it because I bought the wrong kind and I had to water it down. The ink that you need needs to be very watery, so it's easy to flow, but doesn't need to be so watery that it loses its color. So basically you just want a nice liquidy texture to it, and you dip it inside of your solution up to the hole for your pen nib. That is how far you want it to go. You don't want it to go all the way up to the wood part because then you're just wasting ink and you're making a mess. Now, you may notice that on here there is a little bit of a drop forming. And what you want to do, and this is what I have learned, you just take the edge of it, scrape it off into your well that you're using, and that cleans up your edge. Now, how you hold your pen nib. You actually hold it with the curved side up. So the area right here that is curved, that side is going to be pointing up. The inside curve, or the concave, needs to be pointed down. And when you are writing with your pen, you want to push down pressure as you're pulling it towards you. And when you push away from you, you want to kind of tilt your pen, rotate it just a little bit, and then lightly touch the paper as you're pulling away. Otherwise, you're going to be gouging the paper, and you'll actually bend your pen nib a little, and then it'll flick back up and it will splatter ink. You don't want to do that. You just want to kind of hold it to the side, pull away from you at an angle. So pulling down, you apply pressure. Pulling up, you kind of pull away from you. And that is the basics of how to use a pen. And it takes a little bit of time to get used to, but once you get used to it, you can write with it pretty consistently. I've covered how to load your pen. How do you rinse your pen off? Well, once you are finished with your pen, all you have to do is take your pen, put it in some water, swish it around a little bit, and it's clean. Now you need to take a paper towel or a cloth or something like that, and you need to just dry it off. Do not put a whole lot of pressure, and when you drag, you're dragging this way. That way you're not damaging the pen tip. And that's it. You can store your pen tip, or you can leave it in there. I leave mine inside of the pen itself. And you store this the same way that you would store your paintbrushes. Wood side down. So this top part is pointing up, and I know that might be a little dangerous, but if you point it the other way and store it like that, then you might damage the pen nib at the tip. Because like I said, most people, whenever they want to learn how to use a pen, they don't actually want to learn calligraphy as much as they want to learn how to write in cursive. Well, luckily, I have worksheets specifically for both of those. In fact, I have worksheets right here that's going to be linked in the description on how to write in cursive. I also have worksheets on how to write in calligraphy using pens. But all of them start with the same basic application of testing out penmanship. There are a few things that you need to do first off in order to understand how to use your pen. One of the first methods, you're going to be learning how to do this little motion right here where it goes up, down, and then a little curlicue back up. So a little curlicue down and one back up. So it goes up, down, up. 1, 2, 3. You're going to continue that through this whole line, and then you're going to do a smaller version of it right here, all the way through there. Then you're going to jump down here to this line, which is a stroke going down. You're going to do that exact same thing over through here, and the next one there as well. Then you're going to do one going up, and then you're going to do this little fancy S, where it goes up, curve, down, up. Finally, you're going to do this little mark here, and this is going to help you with the X's. Whenever you make X's or make lines, this is going to really help you. Now, depending on the pen nib you took, some of these are going to look different. That's why it's very important that you test this out and you get a feel for how these operate. So how do you get pen nibs, or where can you find them at? I actually was able to find all of these, and it's just a wide variety of different assortments of pen nibs, and I found all of these on Amazon. And they were actually two different sets. The first set was a set of 30, I believe, and they were varied sizes, and I paid $10 for that set. And then I got another set on Amazon that was another $10, and I think it was 18 pieces. So there's like 40 some pieces, almost 50 pieces here, and it cost me 20 bucks. It's actually not that bad of a price. Now, ink, you can buy ink, or you can make it by watering down watercolors or acrylic paints. Really, you can make it out of just about anything. But that is all that you need to get started. Worksheets are down below, and if you're in my class, we're going to be using those worksheets to complete your writing task. Thank you all very much. If you have any questions, please let me know. And as I mentioned before, everything you need is in the description. Free downloads of all the supplies that I have. And if you're interested in art lessons, we have them on the channel. Please, if you would like to stay up to date, subscribe, like, comment, all that fun stuff. And until next time, thank you all. Have a great day.